guys, so welcome back to part 2 of reading only book of the month books. I've read 3 in the last reading vlog. I'm sorry, I'm like having such a brain fart today. I thought I read a lot last in part 1, but I have a lot of book of the month books still to read. I'm pretty sure I have them all here. Okay, so I said this in the last vlog, but I know I'm not gonna get to reading this book. The Chestnut Man. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Survive the Night by Riley Sager. The Last Time I Lie by Riley Sager. Maidens by Alex Michalski. The Hunting Wives by May Cobb. My voice cracked. Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. A History of Wild Places by Shay Earnshaw. A Flicker in the Dark by Stacey Willingham. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. The Book of Cold Cases by Simone St. James. The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Is it Foley or Foley? Love and Other Disasters by Anita Kelly. Too Good to Be True by Corolla Lovering. The Final Revival of Opal and Nev by Donnie Walton, and I probably will be reading this as an audiobook because I read the synopsis again and it's not really intriguing to me anymore, but it's a book of the month book and I'm determined. Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. So the last clip you saw was me showing you all the books I have of book of the month books that I have left to read. And I just picked the next book that I'm gonna read, and it is We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang. I picked this one because it's short and I just wanted to read something that's like a short and quick read. It kind of reminds me of The Dating Plan in a way. Kind of. It's just because like it's a romance and has like family drama, and I think it's like an Irish family involved. Yeah, because Liam in The Dating Plan, his family was Irish. But this book is about
when 29-year-old Sunday Brennan wakes up in a Los Angeles hospital bruised and battered after a drunk driving accident. She swallows her pride and goes home to her family in New York. But it's not easy. She deserted them all, and her high school sweetheart. 5 years before, with little explanation, and they've got questions. Sunday is determined to rebuild her life back on the East Coast, even if it does mean tiptoeing around resentful brothers and an ex-fiancé. The longer she stays, however, the more she realizes that they need her just as much as she needs them. When a dangerous man from her past brings her family's pub business to the brink of financial ruin, the only way to protect the Brennans is to upend all their secrets. Secrets that have damaged the family for generations and will threaten everything they know about their lives. In the aftermath, the Brennans are forced to confront painful mistakes and ultimately find a way forward together.
This book is like 271 pages, so I feel like this is gonna be a breeze. So it's April 23rd, it's a Saturday, and it's like evening time. As you know, I am reading We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and I have gotten 100 pages in, specifically 102 pages, but I feel like if I'm reading a book and I'm not really vibing with it, I need to get 100 pages in, because then we're okay, because that's how I felt about this book. It's kind of a slow start to the book and the story, but now I'm feeling it, I guess, because like we got introduced to Sunday's old flame and all the drama that's going on with that, but just her family in general is so dysfunctional. But it's good. So far, the writing is good. I'm only 100 pages in, so there's not really any character development, but there's a lot of family drama, a lot of dysfunctional family drama, because she's the only girl, and her mom passed away a long time ago, but they never really got together, or got along. And her dad is old, and he's like getting to that old age where he's forgetting things a lot, and her one brother, I think, is a recovering alcoholic and like had trouble with the law, and then her brother Shane, the other brother's Jackie, Shane is like he has an intellectual disability, but he's so nice and so like he's a big bear. And it's just her coming back home, seeing where she left off with everyone trying to survive and like helping each other out, and like the family business, the family pub, how it's like financially oof, and they're wanting, it's just a lot of things that can hit a little close to home for some people, because I know going into this book it was like it's dysfunctional family she's coming back to, but it really shows the financial trouble and the relationships between her and her siblings, or her and her dad, or her and her like ex-flame. And also I think I really got into this book 100 pages in because we get introduced to her old flame, and like for me, I've noticed this, but like for a book to be interesting it has to have some sort of romance to it. I don't know why, but for it to be a little bit more interesting for me, it has to have like a fling involved. Yeah. So it's April 26th and I just finished We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang. This book is not a book that I thought it was gonna be. The description of it says it all, but I thought it wasn't gonna be as hard-hitting as it was. It very much dwells in the feeling of dysfunctional family, and like even though that can be like a trope for some people, this like really sets into like the financial issues, like divorce, and like it's kind of a Debbie Downer of a book. There's such good character development in here, but you do really feel for the characters, and I do wish there was a trigger warning at the beginning of this book, which I already looked. There's no trigger warning at all, but this book does contain assault and battery and a miscarriage, and that's a huge thing to just like throw in the story. If I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have picked this book up because I don't like to feel those feelings. I'm gonna read a happier book now because this is not a happy book. Well, even the ending is not happy. Like it gets better, but it still just like wallows in that self-pity, shame, and guilt. Yeah. And like I compare this to The Dating Plan. It's such the complete opposite. It does have similar aspects as to like best friend's brother fleeing a Catholic Irish family, and like adopting the brother's best friend into the family, and like it has all that, but like if you want all of that but not with like the heaviness of the emotions and like the financial issues and drama of the family, go read The Dating Plan by Sarah Desai, because it's a lot lighter and fluffier than this is. But if you are looking for that, this is your book, because it's very like intense in the feels. Yeah. I'm still surprised that I finished this book, because this is not a book I would typically read, but I guess because I wanted to finish it because of the challenge of this segment, I ended up giving this book a 3 stars out of 5, because I didn't love it. It's okay. It's okay. But the writing took me a little bit time at the beginning to get used to. The structure, the plot is good. You know, everything unraveling makes sense. But damn, that's shitty. In the ending, family sticks together, even though they shouldn't. But yeah. I know this is a horrible angle and the lighting is not the greatest, but just bear with me. It is May 3rd, and I basically have gotten to 100 pages of The Love Hypothesis. I almost forgot what I was reading. And I almost DNF'd it. Olive, the main character, the dialogue. I don't like the dialogue. I don't like how she talks. She sounds like so naive, like a middle schooler. And like probably 50 pages in, all of a sudden there's a huge shift in the way she talks, which I'm like, is this the book trying to like show character development, because it's a weird shift. It's just so weird, because literally she talks like a middle schooler, like OMG, LOL, IDK, but she's just so awkward. And then it shifts to where, like, she knows how to talk now. And, like, now I'm interested in reading it. It's just, I thought the beginning of the book was very strange with how the dialogue was and the writing. It's just, I don't know. But now it sounds like they are talking adults, which they are because they are in grad school, scientists, biologists, and it is capturing my attention now. It's really bothering me, the shift there, if you can't tell. She's just very ditzy in the beginning, and it's very cringe and like, ugh. I also don't like the beginning of the book with the prologue. It's just so weird and just like so random, and like I do not like the writing of the prologue. I do not like the writing at the beginning of the book on how things went. But I am now intrigued in it because we're getting to like the fake dating thing. And she talks normal with Adam. And I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm still gonna read it. I just hope it goes up from here. Because if it goes back to the way things were in the beginning with the dialogue, with the dialogue and the writing, I'm probably gonna DNF this book because it's just cringe to me. It's May 4th, and all the positions she's gotten into with the love interest is what her friend is telling her to do. And it seems such like a middle school relationship where it's like, ooh, I dare you to do this, he, or oh my gee, go kiss him, he. It's like, aren't you in grad school? And then Olive just like, she told me to come kiss you, but I don't know, we don't have to, we don't want to, but like, maybe you should, it's okay, like, girl, just shut up and get control of your feelings. You're in a fake relationship, and do it. He's fine with it. Obviously, I have no problems with Dr. Adam. It's just how Olive talks with her friends really bothers me. And that's where I am. So I just finished The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. It was an okay, cute read of a book. It was very amateur writing, to me at least. The dialogue was very cringy, and the character development, it was kind of confusing because you thought like a part like of you reading it went into character development, and then all of a sudden it went back to how she was like being like a middle schooler and like giggling with her friends and being like, hee, OMG, did we kiss? No? Okay, oh my gosh, ha. And then it would go back to her talking like a grad student would, like an adult. It just kept going back and forth. I'm like, is this like the author trying to show character development of her transitioning into being more mature and like how the situation is developing in the story? I just feel like the character development was very poorly executed. It was very abrupt and weird, and the only thing I liked about the book was the ending part. The structure was weird. It's a very slow burn book. If you're looking for romance, it's a very slow burn book, and basically, spoiler alert, most, if not all, of the romance is at the ending of the book. Yeah. Very slow burn, very immature writing, dialogue was cringy, and character development was, it could have been a lot better. But I did have high hopes for this book, and it really let me down. At the end, I did really love their chemistry together. I loved it, but I guess it was more of my issue with Olive. She's just such a cringe person, and it's not like in a quirky, cutesy way. It's like she's very oblivious and like damsel in distress the whole time, basically, and it's not in a cutesy way. It's like, oh, I'm quirky, but girl, get it together. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. So that is my second book completed in part 2 of Reading Only Book of the Month books segment, but altogether I've read 5 Book of the Month books, which I am so happy about. But my next read for Book of the Month is, usually you think is the book that I have for like a while on my shelf, a Book of the Month, but no. I'm going to read one of my picks of the May box of Book of the Month, and that is Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. And this is a Peter Pan retelling, as you can see, and as it says right here, a novel of Peter Pan. It's fairly short. It's like 300 something pages. Yeah, like not even 350. So I'm excited to read this book. If you've been here, you know I love my retellings. Okay, it's been a couple days since I last saw you guys, but for you it's just like the next clip. But I finally got to 100 pages, and if you know about my mental health from part 1 of this segment, you know my mental health's not the greatest right now, and that I'm weaning off my current meds going to new meds. Anxiety has not been good, so that's why I'm finally getting to 100 pages. At the beginning, it was kind of weird, because I wasn't sure if it was like a flashback or like a dream the main character was having. I thought it was just a whole other story coming about, but then as I read like a couple of chapters later, the flashback of like a dream came back again, but it was more clear this time that it was a flashback of her thinking about the past, which I wish it was more clear at the beginning for the first flashback dream. But the writing, I don't know anything about the author actually, but I have a feeling she might be English, because there's like a lot of English terms that I'm like, what? So far the writing and the dialogue and the characters, I'm loving it. It's just something about it's just like so elegantly whimsical. Does that make sense? I don't know, but it's caught my attention. Everything is chaotic because Holly is like hanging on by a thread with all the secrets she's keeping from her son. They're like in what she's trying to do and save or find her daughter, and that her son doesn't even know they have a sister, and just like she's telling a lie after another and like trying to like figure things out, and she's just making it worse for herself. And it's just chaotic, but I'm living for it because it's not my chaotic. But it's just so interesting because the way that they're portraying Peter Pan, it's like more of like a dark twist to it, and I'm just like, I'm here for it. Yes, give it to me. And also, the prologue was good, but also kind of creepy to me because like her daughter is supposed to be like 2, but she's like grown to a 5-year-old and like talks and acts like a 5-year-old, but like her age is 2. I don't know, that's just kind of creepy to me for some reason. Yeah, I'm loving the book so far. But I'm just only at 100 pages, and I want to update y'all because that's my new thing I'm doing, updating at 100 pages. I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go read some more. Y'all, it just got to a steamy scene with Holly having sex with Peter Pan, which I'm all here for. Fine. I'm into it. But what I realized, like, how Peter Pan was described, and, like, his essence, like, he's a real person, but he, like, has a magical, like, element to him. And the way he was described, you guys, it kind of reminds me of Casper the Friendly Ghost. I don't know. That's how I can, like, picture it in a way. That kind of makes sense. Like, he's pale. He's, like, light as, like, a butterfly. I don't know. But we got to the steamy scene, which I'm all here for. But this one scene, like, apparently this is the first time Peter Pan has had sex. That sounds so weird saying it because of what I grew up with. Peter Pan. Oh my gosh. She left her window open for him, thinking that he was going to come by for another round of sex. And it's like he came through the window so suddenly that there was no time to speak. He'd barely latched it close before he was grabbing me and swinging me onto the bed, like, oh, okay. Bending her over. Okay, I'm here for it. She tried to say something to call his name, just tell him to stop. But he pushed her face firmly into the pillow and held her there. He was so much stronger than she'd thought. And then she couldn't push off enough to claw at him without falling deeper into the bed. He was biting her neck, and, like, she turned her head, took in a gasping breath, and a third, pushing herself up. He thrown himself next to her on the bed and was watching. We've been doing it wrong. And I'm just like, did I just read that? Did he just force her to have sex? Like, I know, like, she was expecting it because she had her window open, but the way he was so rough and forceful about it, I'm like, did he just rape her? And it goes on to say, we've been doing it wrong. He said conservatively, I can't say that word, as if nothing had happened. I watched the animals today at the zoo. It's not supposed to be face to face. I'm sorry. What did I just read? What? I'm sorry. Okay. And she tells him to get out. And he's like, well, we're married now, aren't we? That's how married people do it. That's what it takes, right? I've seen them looking in their windows. Most of them do it wrong. I'm, like, stunned. Creepy. Like, Peter Pan has no boundaries. And, like, I guess he doesn't know any better. But it still just is not sitting right with me. I love the book so far. It's just this one scene kind of makes me cringe. I'm only at like 150 something pages, and there's like a good 200 pages left of the book, which I'm hoping it goes up from here. But ooh. And I feel like this is kind of like a slow burn book of when we really get to the good part, because nothing's really happened. Even though this happened, it was just her reminiscing. That's where I'm at. I just wanted to update y'all because I'm like, did I really just read what I just read? I know this is a dark fantasy. Like, I'm all here for dark fantasies. But I just looked right now to see if there's like warning page at the beginning for like triggers, and there's nothing. Which, I feel like if you're gonna make a dark fantasy that has some triggers in it, you should put a warning page at the beginning of the book. To me, that's just common sense, but apparently common sense isn't so common anymore. Yeah, I'm gonna just keep on reading. Hey guys, so it is May 23rd, it's a Monday, and last night I finished Darling Girl by Liz Michalski, and I don't know. It was okay. Definitely wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I feel like I keep saying that about each book. I thought it was gonna be more like an original Peter Pan adventure, but like Peter Pan and Captain Hook, like who they are, is switched, and that's what I thought it was. But no, spoiler alert maybe. You never go to Neverland in this book, and it's more like a suspense thriller, and it's just very slow burn. But even the end of the story, or the ending half of the story, is like bland to me, and just wasn't the climax I was wanting or thinking in the story. I'm kind of disappointed in how it ended up, but I still do really like the writing and the dialogue of the story. The structure and the plot, not the biggest fan of. A lot of things with how they ended up happening was very anticlimactic. It just like showed up out of nowhere. Thinking of Peter Pan Adventures, you're thinking about like it happening with excitement. It was just very underwhelming of a book for me. I thought, like in the synopsis, it clearly like hints at like Holly, the main character, and Captain Hook, Christopher Cook, like them being like a little love interest or whatever, but like we don't see that until the very end, and even like when it's shown at the very end, it's very like randomly thrown in. It's like not a gradual thing to where we knew it was coming. We were feeling for the characters and their love interest, but it just was like he just kissed her or whatever, and it's like, okay, that's just awkward with how the situation is right now. Like, that was really not needed, and there is no build up to where that could have been a possibility. It's just like very strangely thrown in there, and I wasn't a fan of that. If they didn't have that in the ending there, we would have been perfectly fine. But yeah, just really underwhelmed me. I was excited for it. It's a Peter Pan retelling. I love retellings, but it just didn't work out. I still did enjoy reading it, and I give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. And so I know you just saw the video clip of me explaining that I just finished Darling Girl by Liz Michalski, but I'm just gonna go through all the books that I read in this part 2 of Reading Only Book of the Month books segment. So the first book I read in this vlog is We Are the Brennans by Tracy, and I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I was expecting more of like the Dating Plan by Sarah Desai kind of book, but this is very more like dysfunctional family financial burdens and troubles, and it really rests in the, I don't want to say poverty, but like it kind of feels like that, but, and also it dwells in the dysfunctional family of where family sticks together no matter what, but they probably shouldn't because it's not healthy. Mentally, emotionally, it's not healthy. And it was okay. Seeing the family all together with their quirks was nice. It was nice reading about it, but it focused really on the burdens that they are experiencing throughout the book, and the love interest is like not the center of the book, which I thought it was gonna be. So if you're looking for like a long-time flame coming back into her life, this is not the book for it. It just focuses more on family issues and family drama. Didn't care for it as much, but I did enjoy it because the writing was good, the dialogue was good, the character development was good, even though I wish there was more character development with the family. It's dysfunctional dysfunctionality of it. Wow, can I talk? Apparently not. But yeah, I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars. The next book I read is The Love Hypothesis by Hazelwood. And this is a very slow burn book. Slow burn book. And I had high hopes for this, and it was very underwhelming and very cringe. The writing was okay. The dialogue was cringe. Character development was so weird because it was very like shifty and not consistent. And I like the ending half of it better. I don't think I'll read another Hazelwood book because I noticed that she writes a lot of books centered around like grad students and like the STEM, what was it called? Okay, well I can't find the word for it, but I'll put it on the screen somewhere here. She writes a lot of books around that subject. And I hope her writing is better in those other books because it didn't do it for me in this book. And I think I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars also. Yeah. Lastly, Darling Girl by Liz Michalski. I did enjoy this book, even though I give it such a low rating. I really like the writing and the dialogue of the book. It's very like elegant, whimsical. I keep saying that, but it's so true. I don't know how else to explain it. And the structure of the story, not my favorite. How everything ends up, not my favorite. I wish everything happened a different way because it was very underwhelming and very bland towards the ending of the book. It's just not what I thought it was going to be, and it's just, if you're looking for a Peter Pan retelling with like an adventure, but like a twist with the Peter Pan and Captain Hook and a love interest, and like it's more of reality than like fantasy, if that makes sense, this is not the book. No, it's not. I was very underwhelmed at the ending. I still like it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. So there you have it. These are all the books that I read for part 2 of Rating Only Book of the Month books. And like this video if you want more videos like this. It lets me know. It really does help me. And also follow my Twitter because I put up polls there to see like, you want a book review of this book, yes or no. So thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, you want more videos. Bye me. And I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.